Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow will have surgery on his injured toe, and that will sideline him for a minimum of 3 months. The earliest Burrow could return would be the Week 16 matchup against the Dolphins. Cincinnati expected to start Jake Browning at quarterback, but are reportedly in the market for another QB.
There's always some form of adversity you're gonna face, and it's how do you respond to it. And so again, it's there's not a lot we can do right now for Joe, other than I feel terrible for him because he's put in all the work. And so for him to have to go through this is the worst part of it. But as a football team, we just got to continue to move forward, and that's what these guys are going to do. And I feel very confident in Jake. I think Jake has proven his caliber in this league, and that he can help us win football games and contend for all the things that we want to contend for. But that being said, we're always open to bringing in other people at this point. We got 2 quarterbacks sitting in this room. And so I'm sure we'll turn over all our rocks trying to find another guy.
Let the Kirk Cousins rumors begin. Here's Harvey's Hot Takes with Bryan Hayes. Bryan, the Chiefs, as you know, are struggling. They're 0-2. Joe Burrow's out for 3 months. We just talked about that. And you think this is a massive opportunity for one team in particular.
Yes, and that is my Super Bowl pick, the Buffalo Bills. This is on a platter now for the Buffalo Bills to do exactly what I said they had to do a couple of weeks ago. And I love that we're already here, only 2 weeks into the season, Jay, and I feel bigger and better than ever, bolder than ever in terms of my, push for the Bills to chase the Super Bowl. But in all seriousness, it is here for them this season. And I think that win against Baltimore week 1 is so substantial because the Chiefs are 0-2. They're not an awful team. They're not going to finish with 4 or 5 wins. They are going to settle in. They're going to find a way to win games. They're still going to compete for that division. I still believe they likely make the playoffs, but I don't think 14 or 15 wins are in their future. And Cincinnati, with Burrow being as explosive as he is when healthy with that offense, they had a chance to win a lot of ball games this year. That's completely off the table now. The Bengals are absolutely out of it. Their season's finished with Burrow gone. So I look at the AFC and I look at the Buffalo Bills as, in my opinion, the best team in the conference. I know Baltimore's still really good. Baltimore's going to be in a chase now with the Buffalo Bills because the AFC North just got easier for them with Joe Burrow injured. But it comes back to that week 1 win, like I said, where they have that tiebreaker over Baltimore. And I think if I'm Sean McDermott right now, I'm going into my locker room and I'm saying our division is a joke. It's a joke. Miami stinks. The Jets stink. New England's okay at best. 15 wins, maybe 16 wins should be on the table for the Buffalo Bills because Burrow and the Bengals are not a fight anymore. The Chiefs are clearly wounded, and they're not going to be pursuing that top seed, in my opinion. This sets up beautifully for the Buffalo Bills. You've got to take advantage this year. The other teams around you are clearly faltering here, or they're giving you this opportunity to be the pace car. So you've got to win your division. I think you got to finish with that 1 seed if you're Buffalo. Make every team come through Buffalo in the playoffs, which, again, if that happens, that's a massive benefit for them into January, into February. So this is all about Buffalo. That's what week 2 is about for me. It's not about Burrow. It's not about the Bengals. It's not about the 0-2 Chiefs. It's about the message to the Bills and the platform that's there for them to take advantage of it. They're a really good team. They were a good team with the Chiefs at 2-0 or Burrow 100% healthy. But now it just opens up that door for them to walk right through and be a powerhouse in the AFC and take advantages of possibly these weaknesses with these other big teams in the AFC. It's all about Buffalo coming out of week 2.
Toronto Blue Jays are a good team. Best team in the American League right now, sitting atop the AL. Their top pitching prospect makes his debut on Monday. Everything seems to be going so well for this squad, Bryan Hayes, except for one thing, and that is the status of Bo Bichette, who's having such a terrific season. According to our friend Keegan Matheson of MLB.com, Bichette is in Dallas getting a second opinion on that PCL sprain in his left knee. This all seems to have escalated quickly. Can the Blue Jays make a legitimate postseason run without Bo Bichette?
I think it's going to be very difficult for them to do it. But what the Jays have proven this year is they're a very resilient bunch. And they really do follow through with that next man up mantra. And, the fact that Bo's going for a second opinion, obviously never a good sign, right? That means he didn't like the first opinion. No one gets a positive first opinion and says, you know what, let me fly to Dallas and see if I can get an even more positive second opinion. It's not looking good for Bo Bichette in terms of the regular season. But furthermore, into the playoffs. And if he's not available, that's just a massive piece of the puzzle here. Outside of George Springer, he's been their best bat all year. I think Springer's been their MVP. I would say Bo Bichette would be clear-cut number 2 on that list. Then you probably get to Alejandro Kirk, and you go on beyond that. But Bichette has been a stallmate for them all season. He's into his 7th year as a Blue Jay. He's been riding this roller coaster, the ups and downs, and this is the best team he's been a part of. So I feel for Bichette. I'm pulling for him. I hope he can return at some point before the playoffs or into the playoffs. But if he's not there, it's a massive hole in the lineup. And what it's going to do is put more of an emphasis on the guys who are still here. And yes, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa can help out. Yes, Ernie Clement can help out. Yes, Jimenez can continue to play every single day defensively, and maybe his bat gets a little bit hotter. But really, it's about the big boys. And George Springer has proven all year he's going to continue to play well. I think Alejandro Kirk is a guy that you can rely on consistently, but it keeps coming back to the one guy we've been talking about all year, and that's the $500 million man in Vladdy Guerrero Jr. And if this is going to work, yes, next man up. Yes, the pitching. Yes, the bullpen's got to be a lot better than it has been the last couple of months. But they're going to need someone who can do what Bo Bichette's been doing all year and supply clutch hitting, right? You got to supply hits. You got to supply power. You got to supply big doubles at different times. All these things that Bo Bichette has done consistently this year. So again, I look at Vladdy Guerrero Jr. as a guy that's going to have to pull this team up. But it really stings for Bichette, and it's going to be, again, a real analysis opportunity here for Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro in terms of his contract that expires after this year. Because if they win without him, again, that could spin them in a different direction in terms of what they're willing to pay him or what they're willing to do at that position into the future. But if they fall off, leverage moves back into the Bichette camp. And that's always an overarching story with a player like this who's, a marquee guy, a star, beloved player in the market, who's now injured, big injury at the worst time. It's going to swing one way or the other in terms of Bichette, the team, the contract. Everything's worked out for the Jays this year. This will be the biggest hurdle they're possibly going to face.
No question about it, Bryan Hayes. Jays did get that series opening win against Tampa on Monday, so I guess it is a bit of a bad news good situation for Toronto on Monday. Bryan Hayes, terrific job as usual. This has been Harvey's Hot Takes.
Hot Takes is presented by Harvey's. This fall, add crispy jalapenos and ghost pepper sauce to your Harvey's Angus burger and poutine. Now that's smoking hot. Harvey's, it's a beautiful thing.